you are a B2B service-based business owner and you are looking to gain more clients, create more impact and more revenue in your business, tune in to Amplify Your Marketing Message with Campbell Rapin. Every week, we're going to take you through how to build an audience of buyers, mastering your marketing message, and making offers. My friends, shocker, interest doesn't equal income when it comes to client growth. And I see a gigantic elephant in the room that people get caught in interest, hoping that this becomes client growth. And then they're left disappointed, disheartened, frustrated, and wondering, oh my God, should I stay in business? We're going to correct you. Take that course correction together and get you focused on income producing activities today that lead to wins, clients, less sleepless nights, and more predictable outcomes. If you are new here, welcome. This is Amplify Your Marketing Message. If you are a regular listener, welcome back. Let me introduce myself. I am Campbell Rapin. I'm a business mentor, sometimes known as the professional ass kicker, who will help you build predictable client growth. Guys, the key to there is predictable. And I want to add positive, which means you can write your own paycheck. You can know what to focus on, how to be effective at it, and to do that with simple systems. And if you don't have systems to create better results, what the heck are you doing, my friends? You're better than that. Get the systems, build the craft, and let's go. So the first thing I hear from someone who comes into our ecosystem is that they spend hours in one-to-one meetings or hours on social media content and they hear crickets. They're really busy and they might, take that with a grain of salt, might be getting some level of applause or visibility. But they're still left going, where's the clients? That's you. This episode's for you. Make sure you save it, listen to it, implement it, and advocate around it. So let's just be clear that there's two different types of people that you will engage with. Those that are curious and those that are committed. And there's a vast difference in between. And you need to clock, measure, track who you're talking to so you know what step to take next. And you have to have a game plan to have a next step. We've said this here on our show, but it's important to say it again. People are highly distracted. And truthfully, all distractions are equal. So we have to be intentional with our leadership around moving somebody, inviting somebody, and not getting in our heads about silence means that they don't want something or I'm expensive or blah, 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 blah. It's just a distraction. Stop the chatter. But we need to recognize where people are at. And let's tackle that today. So when somebody is interested, it means their curiosity has been stirred. And that is a great result. Our number one job in marketing is to stir curiosity. If we do not stir curiosity, we are ineffective at the goal. So check yourself here. But interest doesn't mean that you have a buyer. It just means intrigue is happening. And there was some statistics many years ago, which are still appropriate today, that were shared. Clients have a buying journey. They go from curious, interested, committed, implementing. And for you, you have to understand that we as business owners must curate that process. I had a fun conversation with a client of mine. Her name is Laura. She's been with me about 8 months and worked through a couple of our different group programs, building her new business. She had been successful as a chief marketing officer, but she realized that was not the path that she wanted to continue with. And we've been building a different business with her. And she said, what is fascinating to me now and why I have confidence, I'm controlling the game, I'm directing what I do, and I know what to do, when to do, why to do it, and how to do it, is for this simple reality and result. I understand my client's journey that I want to take them on. I'm intentional with moving people. And guys, that's the game, because Google told us, because they have the big bucks to spend on research, that on average, a future client will spend 7 to 20 touch points on research before they make a committed decision. So that's why you got to remember that interest isn't the same as income. And we have to have a strategy that keeps our ask on, that keeps them moving in a highly distracted environment. But Laura said, I'm winning because I get it, I'm moving, and my job every week when we meet with her is to help her fine-tune and condense the time between interest and the income. But they're two vastly different phases. So let's talk about what we do with interest. Interest is curiosity in its very nature, and our job is to validate, to vet, and to determine, are these people who are interested potential buyers? And once we know they're potential buyers, we have to determine the proximity to the income. And we are using our judgment, our opinion, our track record, and our curiosity and our listening skills. But our job is to say, why are we here? When we take action, whether we are in communication, in dialogue, in conversation, or whether we're using technology and tools, when somebody takes a move on the chessboard, our job is to say, what caused it? What stirred curiosity for you? And to determine what's really going on, because we have to break that decision into buyer or non-buyer. And let's just recap here, because you're spending time in one-to-ones go nowhere because you're not talking to buyers. You're talking to people who potentially are simply curious. But buyers have 3 things going on. You've heard this many times. Let's bear it down. Let's put this as a Post-it note in our workspaces so we don't lose track of this, because the moment we lose track of it, we waste time with the wrong people and the tire kickers. But buyers, number 1, know they have a problem. So if you've stirred curiosity for somebody, part of what you should be ascertaining and asking around is, why are we here? What problem did you hear? And what made you curious about what I do, how I do it, the results we get for clients, and how it could apply to you? But they have a problem that they know about, so we need to get crystal clear what's the problem as they see it, the person we're in communication with, the potential buyer, or the potential person who's simply curious. Number 2, buyers have a gap. They want a different outcome, and that outcome has to be marginally better, incrementally better than their current reality. And if the gain is more than marginal, it becomes a bigger value proposition. I have a bigger gain for my investment. The bigger gain from the investment, the more smart money decision it is, the more logical it is, the more we see it as a good, plausible choice we could make. Doesn't mean we make it, but the theory is there, the logic is there. But the third thing that the buyer must be is committed. Committed to moving towards their incremental, improved outcome. And if there's zero commitment, they are not a buyer. And trust me, the most frustrating thing that you might feel as a business owner is when you can see they have a problem, which they recognize, they can see the gain and don't choose to move. But it happens all the time. So expect that. However, We also know when someone keeps their comfort zone, when someone stays in the current pattern that is not serving them with a known problem, it is their norm, but it's also still an opportunity, because there will come a day, something will happen that will draw a line in the sand where they say, I can't stay here and I must move. And you want to be top of mind. You need to be in a relationship with somebody to invite and ask them to bet on themselves with you as a person in their success plan. But guys, when you're saying, I'm curious, interest is an income. And our job is to say, why are you interested? Do you know you have a problem? Are you seeking to improve the outcome, the lived experience of that problem? And are you committed? And if we haven't done this, I'm going to make a bold statement. Sit down, Buttercup. I'm going to make a bold statement here. You're being lazy and ineffective. And doing more of that is insane, because you're going to keep spending time in interested people who are not buyers. Stop it. And if you don't know how to shift here, you really do need to come have a conversation with us, because solving this problem where people go from one-to-ones that go nowhere to one-to-ones that are successfully leading to introductions and clients is what we do every day. We solve that problem. We help our clients solve this problem. And if you're listening and you're not prepared to solve this, I don't know what we're doing here. So make the call. ChristineCampbellRapin.com is how you connect to us. We got to solve this problem for you. But once we have interest and we have determined somebody is a buyer, that is when we start to continue momentum towards the offer. And this is how I like to play it. So this is how we play it. So, step behind the scenes here. If you encounter us and we talk and have a conversation, you will see us working this system of ascertaining, are you our next client? So we have interest, we've created movement, we've invited you, we've emboldened you, invited it to take action. Every action taken step shows us buying behavior. So for us, the most common way is we speak, you listen, I invite, you take action, and we keep repeating that dance. You might come from an event to a resource, to a conversation, to another event, to another conversation, to our programs and services, and a potential strategy call. That length of time can be one shot. It could be a cycle that repeats for years before you're ready, committed to the known problem, and you want that result because it's become non-negotiable. But here's what happens. We're asking the questions. Why are we here? What problem do you think you have? What's the gain you think you need? Why don't you have it? What needs to be in place for you to be committed? How do you set yourself up for success? And what are you prepared to do to have that? And we really have a frank conversation around it, because for us to make an offer, we have to be sure interest isn't just entertainment. It is intent to implement. And that's the key. If you want to talk about where income lies, where client growth is generated, it comes down to, I'm ready to implement. I'm not just ready to write notes and to listen and to learn and to be inspired. I am ready to do the work. I'm ready to do the steps that you're indicating are result driven effectively. I am implementing. And so we're always asking that question. Are you ready to take action? And I know 100% of the time that you're a human and you have access to me, which is something a lot of mentors don't give. You have direct access to me as clients, and I'm going to be there to help you implement. And that partnership that we form creates accelerated results. It creates accelerated results, my friends. But there's a big difference to the interest and the intention to implement. And I think you need to check who you're talking to. Because here's also what I see. You're in one-to-one conversations, whether you're networking, whether you're speaking, whether you're using technology to create this buyer interest that's uncertain at the early stages. You need to be really clear. Are they buyers? Do they have a problem? Do they have a gain that they seek? Do they have commitment? Because too many times your whole day is spent in one-to-one meetings with low intent to implement people. And my friends, that is just a gigantic waste of time. And your time is the most valuable thing you have. So you have to understand and quickly learn the skills to assess and to be acting as triage. Who gets access to you? And what conversation are we having? Are you in the right rooms? Are you talking to people who are curious or are ready to implement? Are you asking what stage they're at? Do you have an intentional strategy that moves somebody from I'm curious to I'm ready? And here's what is through all of this. You must lead the conversation. Likely you were a participant in the one-to-one being booked. But are you leading what the outcome is that you seek? Are you leading a next step? Are you managing this dance? Are you planning and thinking about the human experience, the high distraction, and a truthful recognition that if somebody is simply curious, they're a someday client? You need to ask with language towards the, are you ready to implement? What needs to be there? What does success look like? Who do you need with you? And when is the perfect time to go? Recognizing that you won't have 100% at the table. But for every conversation, I want to invite you to be more effective. Because I know there are decision makers every single day. There are people ready to implement. And if you want to create stability in your business and you want to create consistent client growth and you want to get off the roller coaster of unpredictable income, we have to be sure, number one, we're in front of more people who are ready to implement. Number two, we need to be really intentional with our asks and move people through our buying journey, our customer journey, so that when people are ready, we are right in front of them, top of mind, leading the conversation, making the bold ask and saying, is today the day? Is today the day that you solve the problem? Well, I want to ask you that, because if you're listening today, you want more business. I know that for certain. I know you've got skills and capabilities. That's for certain. My question is, if you want to move to predictable income, what does it take? How do we shift you? How do we build this muscle so that you spend people time with the fastest path to creating big ripples and big income? This is Amplify Your Marketing Message. I am Christine Campbell Rapin, and if you are curious and ready to implement to get effective results, ChristineCampbellRapin.com is your first port of call. Go to the website, click on Work With Me, and let's have a conversation, because I want you winning. I want you effective. And I know that's what you want to. So I'll see you and have a conversation with you soon. Look forward to it. That's a wrap on another amazing episode of Amplify Your Marketing Message with me, your host, Christine Campbell Rapin. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss another great episode. And be sure to visit ChristineCampbellRapin.com/podcast